Hey everyone, this is JT with the solution to my exploding Bombinos puzzle. I hope you had fun trying to solve it, and congratulations to the person who did solve it and claim the prize. Alright, so if we start this video, we'll notice that a number of explosions or fireworks start going off at various locations within this grid. They do so one at a time, and there are two types of fireworks. So by just looking at the squares that turn red at some point during the explosion, we'll see that some make a plus pattern and some make an X pattern. So I'm going to write down plus and X. Alright, so the next thing we'll notice that this grid is a 16 by 16 grid, so 16 rows and 16 columns. That is the hint that the solution to this is a private key. We'll also notice that there are 62 fireworks in total. 31 of them have the plus pattern and 31 have an X pattern. What I did was I encoded the first half of the private key within the fireworks that have the plus pattern and the second half of the private key in the fireworks with the X pattern. So if we go back to the beginning of the video, all I'm going to do is just start recording the location of where these fireworks are on the screen. We have to choose an origin to do this, and I chose the bottom left to be kind of our starting point. So we count how many squares right we go and up, since kind of XY coordinates. Since we're kind of looking for a hexadecimal private key, it would make sense to use the hexadecimal numbers used in the private key. So we're going to start with 0 and go through F. So this first firework that explodes kind of midway up on the right side of the screen corresponds to location F, and then we count up, we get 9. So I'm just going to start recording these locations. I'm recording all of the plus fireworks in the same column. So they're going to have two columns here. If I continue this a little bit more, well, not quite that much more. Well, the second firework is here. If we count right, we will see it's over 9. And then it is 1 higher than the previous one. So this should be 9A for the location of the second one. A little bit further, the third firework is over upper left side of the screen. We go over, well, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if this is F, this should be E, D, C. So 5C is the location of the first firework with an X pattern. Next one is another plus. We go over, this is A, and then we go up 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this will be A7. Now if we get the next two X fireworks, we will get C6 and 6F. And already we can notice a pattern where the second digit of the first firework is the first digit of the next firework. And same here, the second digit of the second one is the first here. And if we look at the X fireworks, it's the same pattern. So a lot of information is being repeated here. And if we go through and look at every firework, that pattern will continue through the whole thing. You'll only see it, though, if you separate them into the plus fireworks and X fireworks. So all I did to encode the private key was I took the first two digits, and the first two digits are F9, and I encoded that in a location on the grid. And then I took the second and third to get the second firework. So the first 4 digits of the private key are going to be F9, and then A, and then 7. So it's kind of repeating, showing that that is the correct order. But we get F9A7 as our first 4 digits. And now the X fireworks encode the last half of the private key, but they do so backwards. So the second half is not going to start with 5C. The very last digit's actually this 5. So we can write that simply by just kind of going back when we write this. So the last digits are, the private key will end in F6C5. If we go through this entire pattern this way, we'll get the entire private key down here, which we can compare to the 8 that we just solved. Notice it starts with F9A7 and ends in F6C5. So congratulations again to the person who was able to solve it, and good luck on the other puzzles.